I'm going to give you a basic overview of Blue Origin and let you know what we can expect from them in the near future, and we're going to compare them to SpaceX along the way. For every industry, you have rivals. You have Coke and Pepsi, Apple and Samsung, Budweiser and Coors. Now how about SpaceX and Blue Origin? Is Blue Origin just an expensive hobby for Jeff Bezos? Or is it an up-and-coming company to take seriously? Let's find out. Welcome to NeoScribe, researching the future for you so you don't have to. Let's start this video out with a quick question. Do you have a hobby that tends to empty out your wallet? How about video games? A PS4 Pro will set you back $400 and maybe 5 new games a year at $70 a pop. That's $280 a year. That doesn't seem that bad. Or how about golf? A decent set of clubs will cost you between $400 and $600, and let's say you play 3 rounds of golf a month at an average of $36 per round. That will come out to $1,296 per year. Okay, that's getting a little up there. But there are hobbies out there that are insanely expensive, and they'll make your wallet so light that it will float away. You want to take up Polo, for instance? The horse will set you back $20,000, and then you have to board the horse, care for the horse, and pay for vet bills, which will cost around $1,500 a month, along with the $8,000 yearly Polo Club membership. That'll bring your total yearly expense to $26,000. But I can safely assume that Amazon CEO and founder Jeff Bezos has the most expensive hobby in history, and that is funding the aerospace manufacturing and space flight services company Blue Origin. That's right, in April of this year, Jeff Bezos announced that he'll be spending $1 billion a year to privately fund Blue Origin. That is enough money to finance over 38,000 polo players every year. Bezos founded Blue Origin in 2000. That's 2 years before Elon Musk founded SpaceX. Bezos was always fascinated with space as a kid, whereas Musk admits that he wasn't a space junkie as a kid. And he started SpaceX with the firm belief that humanity should be a multi-planetary species. The early years for Blue Origin was slow and methodical. They had the luxury of time, and that is reflected in their motto, step by step, ferociously. Bezos had the money to fund Blue Origin at exactly the right rate that he felt necessary, and also in the early years he kept expenses low. On the other hand, SpaceX had a desperate sense of urgency since the beginning. Musk spent most of his money at the time founding SpaceX, and they needed to generate revenue as soon as possible in order to survive. The company was continually at risk of bankruptcy, and employees had to work 90 hours per week until they secured the $1.6 billion contract from NASA in 2008, and that saved the company. In an article from fastcompany.com, the author, Aaron Carr, asked SpaceX Senior Communications Manager Phil Larson about working 90 hours per week. Larson said, "Hours and expectations are higher than the industry average, but you can't make humanity a multi-planetary species on 40 hours a week." End quote. The article is very interesting and goes a lot deeper into the cultural differences between Blue Origin and SpaceX. I highly recommend that you read it. There's a link in the description below. But in the past 4 years, Blue Origin has grown at a fast pace, growing from 250 employees in 2013 to over 1,000 employees today, whereas SpaceX currently has around 6,000 employees. One of Blue Origin's vision is to get billions of people to work and live in space, and their 2 main objectives are 1, to decrease the cost of human spaceflight, and 2, to increase the safety of human spaceflight. Similarly, SpaceX's vision is to help humanity become a multi-planetary species. Their main objectives are 1, reducing space transportation costs, and 2, to help build and facilitate a 1 million-person colony on Mars in the next 50 to 100 years. Blue Origin hopes to dramatically lower the cost of spaceflight by achieving reusability with their rockets, just like SpaceX does. Blue Origin's main business focus right now is space tourism. They plan to start sending tourists into space by 2018. They will launch tourists above the Kármán line, which is 62 miles above Earth. The Kármán line is the boundary between Earth's atmosphere and space. From that height, tourists will experience weightlessness, and they'll see the curve of the planet and the darkness of space. On the other hand, SpaceX's main business right now is delivering cargo and astronauts to the International Space Station. But on the side, they will dabble in space tourism in 2018, or I think it'll be later, but they plan on launching 2 tourists around the moon. So when Blue Origin launches their tourists into space, they're going to be using the New Shepard rocket. And with the New Shepard rocket, they actually beat SpaceX in vertical landing back in November 2015. That was 1 month before SpaceX landed the Falcon 9 in December December. So besides space tourism, Blue Origin has partnered with the United Launch Alliance, the ULA, to produce engines for the ULA's new launch vehicle, Vulcan. Blue Origin has also secured 3 customers so far to launch satellites. Their first customer will be the commercial satellite operator, Eutelsat. These satellite launch deals will take place on Blue Origin's rocket New Glenn, which is Blue Origin's near super heavy class launch vehicle, capable of launching 99,000 pounds to low Earth orbit. It is designed to be reusable and will be able to launch payloads into low Earth orbit and beyond. Once New Glenn is operational, Blue Origin will be able to compete with SpaceX in the satellite launch business and also with securing NASA contracts down the road. Blue Origin plans its first test launch of New Glenn in 2020, while SpaceX is currently developing the Falcon Heavy, which is a true super heavy class launch vehicle, and the Falcon Heavy will be able to launch 140,000 pounds to low Earth orbit. The first test launch of the Falcon Heavy is just around the corner, projected for November of this year. I'm excited to see that. So what can we expect from both of these companies down the road? Again, Blue Origin has the suborbital space tourism venture, which they hope to start as soon as next year. They also have 3 customers lined up to launch satellites starting in 2020 using the New Glenn vehicle. And Blue Origin's latest proposal is the Blue Moon project. No, it doesn't involve that Blue Moon. It is a proposed series of missions that would deliver cargo to the moon using Blue Origin's proposed lunar lander, the Blue Moon. And the cargo would be materials needed for a moon base. Blue Origin recently proposed a plan for NASA to back the development of Blue Moon. We'll see how that goes. Hopefully they can get some money for that. So for SpaceX, we look forward to their first test flight of the Falcon Heavy in November. Then they have the 2 space tourists signed up for the moon trip in late 2018. But that will likely be later than that, and they will use the Falcon Heavy for that. They're also working on starting a satellite broadband internet business, which they might call Starlink. There is not much info on that right now. And lastly, they are developing the BFR launch vehicle, the big freaking rocket. And they plan to replace the Falcon 9 and Heavy and Dragon spacecraft with the BFR. And also they will use the BFR for 2 unmanned missions to Mars in 2020, and then 2 manned and 2 unmanned missions in 2024. And on top of everything else, they plan to use the BFR to transport people anywhere in the world in under an hour. So there we have it, a brief overview of Blue Origin and how they are similar and different from SpaceX. And learning about Blue Origin's plans for the future and knowing that they've been securing customers, I can honestly say that Blue Origin is looking to be a future space powerhouse and looking to be a rival to SpaceX in the years to come. So it looks like Blue Origin is more than a hobby for Jeff Bezos. They're actually a legitimate company, and I think rivalries are good for business. You know, every Apple needs a Samsung and Google because healthy competition breeds rapid innovation, and that's good for everybody. But I want to hear from you. Do you think Blue Origin will be a major player in the future space economy? Comment below. I hope you enjoyed your journey. If you did, please leave a like. And if you're interested in space exploration, robotics, and all things future, then join the NeoScribe tribe and subscribe. I am NeoScribe, and this is the end of our journey.